Okay, what is going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel on this week's video. Today is an exciting video because it marks the start of my prep. I am currently in prep, but this video here is going to be the week leading up to prep. So this one's a little bit in advance, and then all my upcoming prep vlogs, my preps diary series is going to be very much in the present. I'll take you through my weeks. Like I said, this one's me going through the week leading up to prep. So I've got a few things in store for this video. I'm going to show you my off-season results, so my diet to my peak off-season weight, my last supper, my final cheat meal, well, my only real cheat meal of my off-season, and then a back workout, little talk through, not as in-depth as my previous videos, but a little talk through as we have made some changes, or I have made some changes in the past week, a few tweaks and executions and setup which have really made the world of difference. Although I've only done it just the once, I can tell that it's going to reap some great rewards in the coming weeks. But enough of that. You would have seen, as I'm waffling through, you would have seen what I had for my off-plan meal to mark the start of prep. I had some pizza and some chicken shop chicken. But without further ado, I'm going to dive into my progress photos. So up 17.5 kilos from 85 kg to 102.5 kg was my peak off-season weight. Going to take you through 6 of my poses, 2 front, 2 back and 2 side shots. So I'll do my front and back lat spread and double bicep, and my side chest and side tricep. So here we have my front double bicep. A little tweak in posing. As you can see, I've flicked my adductors out some more just to really create a better X-frame and show off my adductors, as my classic narrow stance double bicep was kind of making me more straight rather than showing off the X-frame of my physique. Notable improvements are going to be in the lats here. A lot thicker in the drop of the lat, a lot less diagonal, a lot wider and a lot better sweep to the lats, creating that V-taper, and hopefully this translates into my on-stage physique when we shed down the pounds. Arms were a lot better posed, closing off that gap between bicep and forearm. I believe I've made some considerable progress in my arms, which was a lagging body part at the start of this off season. The strong point, obviously the legs, better posing makes them look even better, even bigger, showing off that sweep that I've got, but also showing the thickness in my adductors, making a bigger chunk of the leg. Okay, so next we've got the front lat spread. This has probably been my most improved shot of the 6 I'm going to show you anyway. Like I mentioned before, the lats are looking a lot thicker and closing that gap between arm and lat in this pose. A good amount of chest development as well, especially in the outer part of the chest, looking a lot thicker, not disappearing into a flat chest when we bring this pose up. You can see the arms are thicker, which further close that gap between lats and the arm, closing that gap from both ends. Posing my legs a lot better here. As you can see in my leaner shot, I had more of a locked knee, which obviously is going to show off the quads a bit more detail wise, but it's going to make them look a lot narrower and straight. Whereas when I flex them outwards, it really emphasizes the thickness from inside to out and presents a lot better physique in my opinion. Okay, here we have the side chest, which when you're heavier, these side shots are a lot harder to hit as you're a bit fat and you have a little less mobility to turn around in. The off season isn't posed as well as the leaner one. If I drop my closest delt downwards, drop the trap downwards, I think this will make the shot look more shapely, but that's something to play around with. Obviously as I get leaner, your off season and your stage physique is going to look different. So the way and the way you pose and the intricacies of each shot may look better when you're fatter and may look better when you're thinner. I'm looking, obviously you will look denser when you're in the off season, but shoulder to shoulder density is definitely looking a lot thicker here. Traps have come up a long way. I know I'm flexing a little bit here, but I've seen a good noticeable amount of trap development, and noticeably my legs here. The hamstring sweep has been sweeping. Obviously you can push your adductor and your hamstring through a lot easier when you're fatter, and you can imitate a drop a lot better, but you can only do that so much. And obviously I didn't get too fat in this off season, as you can see from the photos. So when we diet down, you will see that that sweep is there to stay, making a thick leg, hiding that back leg. As you can see in my leaner photo, you can see the back leg a little bit, whereas in the better posed off season photo, we're getting that thick leg out on display and it is engulfing the back leg. Again, with the leg in the side tricep shot, I don't need to explain it again. And like I said, it's harder to pose the shots when you're less mobile and you're bigger compared to when you're leaner. And obviously I need to straighten up a bit more and turn out some more just to create that shoulder to shoulder width and really get a full flex on the tricep pushing downwards, which will come from leaning back some more. As you can see in the leaner photo, the tricep is thicker at the top where I can fully turn it out and fully pose it, where my shoulder mobility and my hip mobility aren't so much in that side tricep shot. But notes takeaway, arm thickness from back to front looking a lot thicker, especially that tricep long head. I've really worked on bringing it up through the off season to not only improve my front double bicep, but also to improve the side tricep as well. Okay, so into the back shots. These are going to be the hardest to tell the improvements in, as I store a lot of my body fat in my lower back and glute area. As you can see, you've got my rear is looking a bit fat, glutes aren't in the best of shape, and losing some of that detail in the lower back area. But what you can see is that erector thickness starting to come through. We're starting to get that back bump where my mid back and my lower lats are starting to thicken out, as well as my erectors. So the main focus of my back training this off season has been my mid back thickness and my lower lats, which I think has evidently improved from these shots. As you can see from these shots, like I said, it may not be as visible on first glance due to the accumulation of body fat in that lower back and glute area, but lats are looking thicker. I told you about my traps are popping in this back double bicep shot. And then that little crease, that little crevice in the mid back from the spine between the two chunks of lat, you can see that there is some added thickness there and some muscular growth has occurred. Rear delts are a big strength of mine and they do carry this shot quite well, and my bicep peaks have come up nicely. Like I said in the front double bicep, the back double bicep is posed a lot better, closing that gap between bicep and forearm. Okay, this is further evidence of this mid back and lower lat thickness that has been improved in this off season. It is a lot easier to see when the body fat is stretched and pulled round for that back lat spread. You can see that the lower lats and the mid back are a lot juicier, as well as the meatier upper part of the lat being, like I said, meatier and carrying a lot more muscle than the counterpart in the lean version. This is far from my strongest pose, and I've been working on a few things, but obviously, like I said previously, it's hard to make definite adjustments to your posing in the off season, as you're not going to look like this and your body is not going to move, present itself, look the same when you are lean and ready to get on stage compared to when you are at your fattest in your peak off season. Obviously, my hamstrings are not dug out as well as they were in the leaner photo, so you can't see the work as much, but you can tell from a glance from inside to outside they're thicker. Like the back leg is thicker. My sweep, obviously in posing trunks, I can really see my sweep, which is a strength of mine, and the shorts hide that. But when they're out in the posing trunks, you can see that sweep coming out. Even in the back shot, you can see the sweep of my quad come out and create that thicker illusion of a leg. And you can see a faint line in my back hamstring and some musculature in that the hamstring of the leading leg, which if you can see now, you're likely going to see a lot better when I'm lean. So that is evident of my growth in that area. So that is me taking you through my progress from diet to off season to the start of prep. So this is going to lead me on to the training part of the video. I'll just turn the brightness up for the purpose of the video because I'm going to be in the corner talking you through this part. So like all my back sessions, we are starting with pull-ups. What has felt great about dieting back down is pull-ups have got a lot easier, obviously due to body weight being lower. So whereas some of my other lifts, like my heavier compound and pressing lifts, are going to take a toll throughout this diet phase, pull-ups are likely to be the one thing that are progressing the most. Like usual, 4 sets of 15, do 1 set body weight until I am able to progress past 15, then I'll incorporate a second and a third and so on. But 1 set body weight and then 3 sets with the purple resistance band. Using it obviously to get me out of that hole, but not taking advantage of it. So I'm still coming down slowly, take a longer negative, longer eccentric, as I have that safety buffer at the bottom to ping me back up again. Really trying to make this a lat pull up, so elbows tucked and pulling through the elbows, as opposed to more flared and tilting my body up to pull with my upper back. As like I said previously, the aim has been to develop my mid back and my lats, so I don't want to be letting my thicker, bigger, stronger upper back take priority and contribute more to the movement than the smaller lats, which if not set up correctly will just contribute slightly to the movement and not completely as what we're trying to achieve here. Obviously you can't completely isolate the muscle, but the way you set up and the way you execute movements can isolate it more, can make the smaller muscle groups contribute more to the movement than they would if you took a more generic approach. Okay, next we have a deadlift ladder. My first one with the 1 plate 60 kg is 20 reps, like a warm-up, burnout, little pre-fatigue sort of thing, and then we get into the brute force. The ladder's up by 4 reps each set, as you can see. I accidentally went from 1 plate to 2. I usually go to 2.5, as you'll see afterwards. So I just took the L and did another set. So even more volume build up. So I did 60, 100, 120. The 100 was obviously unintentional. Then 160, then 200. 200 is where I started to feel the weight. So this means I've programmed the last warm up well. In this pyramid style, the last warm up is meant to be with stimulating almost to your top set, but not to failure. And then you bang in the top set. 230 here. What I was aiming to do, what I've been aiming to do is make my reps more continuous and take less rest, less time between each rep at the bottom of the movement. Obviously, I like to dead stop. I don't like to touch and go, as it is a recipe for disaster if you don't control them too well. And I use the rock back and forwards just to check that the bar's straight, check that I'm still in position to go again and it's not tilted to one side, which will obviously cause some injury. But I'm trying to break out of the habit, land, breath and go, which you would have seen in the warm-ups. But as this is a new weight, I just wanted to be sure, wanted to be safe, and when I hit it next week, I will aim to decrease that time until they are running continuous like the warm-up sets, and then I will increase the weight again. So, new thing here. This T-bar row used to be focused on the upper back, so the flared elbows and dragging through my upper back. However, as you can see, I am elbows tucked, using the neutral grip and driving down into my hip, trying to use more of the lat. Reason being, I watched a video with Kuba training with Samson, and Kuba brought up a good point. If you start with your stronger and bigger muscle groups at the upper back, it is likely going to contribute more to the following sets. Whereas if you start with, obviously I start with the pull-ups, but then I deadlift. So if you start your movements with the lats and the smaller body part, get them pumped, get that mind muscle connection there, get them stimulated, you're going to likely use them a lot better in the following movements. So what I have done is I've swapped my lat and my upper back movements around. Lats here with the T-bar, and then my next exercise would be lats again. Whereas if I did an upper back here, even though I wanted to target the lats in the following movement, my pumped upper back may try and take over and contribute more than I intend it to. So there we go. Obviously the top set here, I overshot a little bit. I tried to maintain the same weights that I used for my upper back focus T-bar row, which obviously I am going to reset and make sure I don't do a set of 4.5 next week. So like I said, now my lats are pumped more, and I definitely felt this a lot better in my lats as a result. Single arm, prime extreme row. Obviously I am standing and hinged as opposed to laying on a machine. This really imitates a dumbbell row well, while allowing you to align your body to the correct movement pathway, which you may fall out of if you're using free weights. So it standardizes your form, standardizes your technique, and really keeps constant tension on the intended muscle, the lats. So then we get into the seated row. This before I was keeping my elbows tucked and driving down into my hips to engage the lats. As you can see here, more of a flared out approach, really wrapping my scapula around my spine at peak contraction, really trying to get that mid back to upper back working here. And I'm telling you, I felt my upper back and my mid back DOMs worse than I've ever had after this, and my lats were burning. All great signs of good programming, using, obviously there's that newbie gains all over again when you change your movements around a little bit, allow me to progress again, allow me to feel new stimulus, and allow me to grow a better back as a result of it. So why wouldn't I do this? And then finishing off with a pull down movement. This is a muscle round 6x6. So I'll do 6 reps, 15-second break, 6 reps, and repeated for the entirety of 6 rounds, 6 stages. And that concludes my back training, and also concludes the video for this week. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, click that notification bell so you do not miss an upload, as they are going to be coming thick and fast through this prep. I'm going to guarantee you a weekly vlog, so 18 weeks out all the way through to show day. That is my guarantee, weekly vlogs, and I am going to try my best to add a second upload to the weekly vlogs as well. That more of a training focused vlog, or covering a certain topic as opposed to a general wrap up of the week. So maybe a full day of eating here, maybe some thoughts on my prep so far, or other changes that I've had to deal with, as well as training videos coming through. But that is what you got to look forward to, so make sure you like, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Share this with a friend, bring them on board the journey to my first time on stage. Junior bodybuilding, 24th of September, Birmingham, PCA First Timers number 5. We're coming to win, but more importantly, we're going to enjoy ourselves. We're going to make sure that we have done everything, no stone is left unturned, and going to put 110% and then some into this prep. And if I get there, I'm not good enough, but I will be. And I'm just looking forward to it. So that is gonna end the video, and I will catch you all next week. I am out.